Discuss the role of minority influence in social change, 12 marks. AO1. Minority influence is when something in society changes due to the influence of a small group, a minority group. Moscovici identified that you need an outspoken minority advocating a different way of doing things to cause social change. When people hear the views of the outspoken minority under certain conditions, they will change their viewpoint, and he called this conversion. The conditions necessary for social change are 1. Drawing attention to the issue. A minority group invariably have an opinion different to the rest of society, so somehow they've got to get the rest of society to take notice of the thing they want to change. They need to draw attention to the issue so that people are aware of the issue. Fathers for Justice did this in their campaign to change the rights of fathers after divorce with regards to their children. They dressed up in superhero outfits and staged sit-ins in high-profile places like the grounds of Buckingham Palace. The second condition is conflict. If the thing that people want to change causes a conflict within us, then we end up thinking about that thing very deeply. We can't get it out of our minds. This deep thinking helps us to start to change toward the minority viewpoint and therefore change our behaviour. E.g., if we see a leaflet about animal cruelty that conflicts with our desire to buy cosmetic products, we think deeply about the animal cruelty issues and might change our behaviour to buy cruelty-free products. The more people that do this change, the more people do this, then they will change to a majority. The third condition for social change is consistency. The issue that they want to change has to be consistent. They should keep their issue simple and not change it. Woods et al. 1994 carried out a meta-analysis of 97 studies of minority influence and found that the minorities who were especially consistent in their position were particularly influential. For example, some green groups have consistently talked about the ozone layer, and so this means that we're more likely to take the issue seriously. The fourth condition for social change is the Augmentation Principle. This means that if the supporters of the belief are willing to suffer for their views, then they are taken more seriously by the majority. The impact of their position on the majority is increased or augmented. As a result, they are more likely to be influential in bringing about social change. Suffering may include being abused for their views, arrested, or even killed. For example, the Polish trade union called Solidarity was a minority group who campaigned for workers' rights in the Lenin shipyards. The government tried to censor them, and the leaders of Solidarity suffered. They were imprisoned. Solidarity grew to 10 million members and led to the overthrow of the communist government in 1989. AO2 material. Evidence for these factors comes from the suffragette movement, who campaigned for voting for women at the turn of the 20th century. They, 1, drew attention to their cause by having protest marches and chaining themselves to railings and going on hunger strike. It was hard to miss them. 2, they caused conflict within the majority. Some men dismissed them as troublemakers, but others dealt with the conflict of not wanting votes for women by thinking about it more deeply and changing their viewpoint towards that of the minority. 3, they were consistent with their issue. They campaigned for 15 years for the same issue, votes for women, until they were granted it in 1914. 4, they suffered for their cause, many being ridiculed in the press and on a daily basis. They were arrested and some even died of being on hunger strike. Their willingness to suffer for their cause meant people took them seriously. This shows that social change has real-life application. Kruglansky, 2003, identified that social change may also explain terrorism, but not justify it. The aim of terrorism is to bring about social change when social force is not possible, the minority is weak. Suicide bombers are often consistent in their issue, and they are persistent, demonstrating commitment. These individuals are willing to lose their lives because of their commitment, which shows the majority that they are serious about their issue, augmentation. But does minority influence always lead to social change? Some believe that majority group members don't want to avoid agreeing with minority because they don't want to be seen as deviant. This therefore suggests that minority influence only creates the potential for social change rather than actually causing it. Not all minority groups are successful because it depends on the majority members. So the campaign group for legalising cannabis have not so far been successful in their campaign. So, lovely students of mine and anyone else who might be listening who wants to learn this, probably listen to it, and if you're a kinesthetic learner, you should go for a walk while you're listening to it, and then go for the same walk and listening to it again, and then go for the same walk because it's only really 5 minutes long, or 6 minutes by now. So, and then get someone to test you on it, or test yourself. Or perhaps if you're just feeling tired, maybe just have a lie down and listen to it and see how much you can actually remember. Good luck!